being familiar with the properties of systems, in this session let us concentrate on the properties of linear time invariant systems. What are the various properties of the systems other than this linearity and time invariance? Other than this, the other properties of systems are causality, the static or dynamic systems, then stability and invertibility. So in this session we are going to concentrate on properties of linear time invariant systems, that are nothing but the causality, stability, invertibility and about static or dynamicity of the linear time invariant system. So to proceed ahead with these properties of linear time invariant systems in terms of impulse response, let us concentrate on first the static linear time invariant systems. Static systems are also called as memoryless systems. So as you know that the linear time invariant systems are characterized by the convolution sum or the convolution integral equation. So let us concentrate first on the discrete time system, linear time invariant system. For a system in general to be memoryless, it is required that it should depend on the present instant of input that is applied to the system. This is the requirement that is for the system to be memoryless. Now for a linear time invariant system to be memoryless also, this linear time invariant system has to obey this particular requirement. That is, the output of a linear time invariant system should depend on the present state of input only and should not depend on either the past or the future instant of the input. Now let us consider the convolution sum equation where yn is equal to xn convolved with hn, and if we use the commutative law we write yn is equal to hn convolved with xn, and the mathematical expression to evaluate this convolution is summation k from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k into x of n minus k. Now if we evaluate this convolution sum expression, that is by substituting the various values of k here in this product terms, k is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. It is not feasible here to write all the infinite terms. So what we will do here is we vary k from minus 2 to 2 and consider that this in a similar way it exists, its existence from minus infinity to plus infinity. So let us write these terms as yn is equal to, so it exists from minus infinity. So we are considering here the examples of k from minus 2 to plus 2. So see here, for k is equal to minus 2, the term is h of minus 2 x of n plus 2. Now x of n plus 2 is the future instant of input. H of minus 1 into x of n plus 1 when k is equal to minus 1. This is also future instant of the input, that is x of n plus 1. Why it is future instant of the input? Y you are considering or computing or evaluating at n, and x you are considering at n plus 2. Here x you are considering at n plus 1. Here when n is equal to k is equal to 0, this term becomes h0 xn. When k is equal to 1, this is h1 x of n minus 1. The next term shall be h2 x of n minus 2, so on up to infinity. Now all these terms x of n minus 1, n minus 2, these are all past instant of inputs. And this h0 into xn is the only term which is related to the present instant of input. Now if we want this linear time invariant system to be memoryless, it is required that in this expression all these terms related to x of n plus 2, x of n plus 1, x of n minus 1, x of n minus 2 should vanish from this expression. Now how these will vanish, how these terms becomes equal to 0? So this is possible if h of minus 2, h of minus 1, h of 1, h of 2, the coefficients of these input terms, if they are 0, then only it is possible. That means y of n will be then equal to h0 xn only if hn is equal to 0 for n which is less than 0 and n which is greater than 0, that is n which is not equal to 0. For that hn, it is required that it should be equal to 0. Then only the system, that is the linear time invariant system, becomes memoryless. So as seen here, the system to be memoryless, y of n must depend on only this xn and not on this x of n minus 1, x of n plus 1, x of n plus 2. So then this is possible only if the impulse response satisfy this condition that h of k is equal to 0 for k not equal to 0, or h of k should exist only at k is equal to 0. Then only the linear time invariant system becomes memoryless. So for this h of k should be in the form of impulse function which exists at k is equal to 0, that is delta of k. So h of k should be in the form of c into delta of k, c representing here the amplitude at k is equal to 0. So in general we say that then the output yn will be equal to c delta of n, c x of n. How come this you get? Because yn is equal to hn convolved with xn, and hn here is c delta of n. When c delta of n you convolve with xn, the convolution becomes equal to c into xn. So convolution of xn with the impulse response is x of n itself, that we have already seen in the previous session. Similarly, for the continuous time systems, if y of t is equal to integration from minus infinity to plus infinity h of tau x of t minus tau d tau, this is a convolution integral expression where h of t convolved with x of t, then this infinite duration convolution integral, we can divide it into two parts. One is from minus infinity to 0 and other from 0 to infinity. Now in the first part, if I replace tau by minus tau, you will get this first part of this equation as, so this becomes minus d tau, and here this becomes plus tau, this is h minus tau, this will be varying from infinity to 0, and then to make 0 to infinity, that minus sign will get cancelled. So you get y of t is equal to integration from 0 to infinity h of minus tau x of t plus tau d tau, plus the second part is integration from 0 to infinity h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Now if you observe this expression, this x of t plus tau is the future instant of input and x of t minus tau is the past instant of the input. So if at all we want the output to depend on the present state of input, it is required that the output should depend on only x of t, that is this h of minus tau for tau which is greater than 0 and h of tau for tau greater than 0 should be equal to 0. In general, h of tau for tau not equal to 0, if it is 0, then only output will depend on the input. This is again it is required that h of tau should be in the form of c delta of tau, or h of t is equal to c delta of t. So here we see that for a linear time invariant system, whether it is a continuous time or a discrete time, it is required that its impulse response should be in the form of c delta of n or c delta of t. So c delta of n, it is for if the system is discrete time system, and c delta of t is for the system which is continuous time linear time invariant system. So another thing to note here, that the system will not be memoryless if the impulse response of the system is in the form of a shifted impulse function, that is delta of t minus k or delta of t plus k or delta of n minus k or n plus k. Sorry. Then if the impulse response, if it is in the form of such kind of shifted impulse, then it will not be existed at t is equal to 0 or n is equal to 0. So therefore the system will not become memoryless. So remember and note this here, that the impulse response should be in the form of only C delta of n or C delta of t only. Okay. Now the next property is the causality. So in general, for a system to be causal, it is required that the output of the system should depend on either the present state of the input or the past state of the input. Then only we say that the system is causal. Now to consider for the discrete time linear time invariant system, again let us write the convolution sum equation and expand it from minus infinity to plus infinity and write all the terms of a convolution sum expression. So see here, now if I want this system to be causal, it is required that the output should not depend on this future instant of inputs, and it should be a function of only either this xn or in the form of x of n minus k. So it is required that then the impulse response for n which is less than 0 should be equal to 0 if we want the linear time invariant system to be causal. So if the impulse response for n less than 0 is 0, then all these terms, that is x of n plus 1, n plus 2, these future instant terms of input will become equal to 0 from the equation. So it is required that the output should depend on only the present and the past instant of input and should not depend on this future instant of inputs, that are x of n plus 1 and n plus 2. So for that we consider that the h of minus 1 and h of minus 2 from this equation are 0. So that is h of n is equal to 0 for n less than 0. So necessary condition to satisfy is that the impulse response of the linear time invariant discrete time system should be equal to 0 for n less than 0, and it should exist for only n greater than or equal to 0. Then only the system will be causal. So for a causal LTI system, impulse response must exist for n greater than or equal to 0. Similarly, for continuous time linear time invariant system, it is required that the output should depend on only the present or the past instant of input. Again, as we have done it while finding the condition for memoryless system, in the first part of this expression, let us replace tau with minus tau and rewrite this equation as y of t is equal to integration 0 to infinity h of minus tau x of t plus tau d tau plus integration from 0 to infinity h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Now if at all you want this future instant term to be absent from the equation, then it is required that h of minus tau should be equal to 0. This is for, that is h of t for t less than 0, if it is equal to 0, then this h of minus tau becomes equal to 0. So these terms will be absent. So see here, the tau is varying from 0 to infinity, and then this is h of minus tau. So if tau which is greater than 0, if h of minus tau is 0, then these terms from the equation will be absent, and only then remain will be for tau greater than 0 h of tau terms. So in general, for h of t we say that if h of t is equal to 0 for t which is less than 0, then this term from the expression will be absent. So at the time the output will depend on only the present and past state of inputs only, and will not depend on the future instant of input. So for the system to be causal, this x of t plus tau should not be the part of this system expression. Therefore, the first part of expression should be equal to 0, and this is possible if h of tau is equal to 0 for tau less than 0. Now for stability. The system is said to be bibostable if every bounded input generates the bounded output. So for linear time invariant system, we shall write it from the convolution expression. So where y of n is equal to summation k from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k into x of n minus k. So let us assume the input is bounded. So magnitude of x of n, if I consider it as mx, then it is required that the magnitude of yn should also be bounded. So to check, let us take the magnitude of this equation. So magnitude of yn is equal to magnitude of this part. So if you observe here, this k is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. H of k into x of n minus k. The input, which is a variable of n, is x of n. So these are all these product terms, and if you want to take the magnitude, it is required that we have to take the magnitude of hk and this magnitude of x of n minus k. So let us assume that the magnitude of xn is mx, and then magnitude of yn is equal to summation k varying from minus infinity to plus infinity, magnitude of hk into magnitude of x of n minus k. So this magnitude of hk into magnitude of x of n minus k always will be less than or equal to the magnitude of yn. So I am equating it, that is the maximum of it. So hk into x of n minus k, if it is finite, then definitely magnitude of yn will be finite. So magnitude of x of n minus k is already assumed, that is mx. So magnitude of xn, if it is mx, then magnitude of x of n minus k is also mx. So if we want this magnitude of yn to be less than infinity, it is required that if this is mx, then it is required that this part is also less than infinity. So magnitude of yn, which is equal to mx into summation k from minus infinity to plus infinity, magnitude of hk, if we want to be less than infinity, then this is required as this part, that is this summation, should be less than infinity. That is, this summation should be absolutely summable. That is, if hn is absolutely summable, then magnitude of yn will be less than infinity, and then the system becomes stable. So for the stability, it is required that the impulse response of the system should be absolutely summable, or the magnitude of hk, where k varying from minus infinity to plus infinity, should be less than infinity. Similarly, for the continuous time, a linear time invariant system, we shall evaluate the property from the convolution integral equation. So let us write the convolution integral equation. Y of t is equal to integration minus infinity to plus infinity h of tau into x of t minus tau d tau. The magnitude of yt we have to take and assume that the magnitude of xt is mx. Then the magnitude of yt is equal to magnitude of this integral equation, which shall be written as, which is less than or equal to integration minus infinity to plus infinity magnitude of h tau into magnitude of x of t minus tau d tau. Now I replace this magnitude of x of t minus tau by mx, and then if magnitude of x of t minus tau, if it is mx, then magnitude of yt will be less than infinity if this integral, that is integration minus infinity to plus infinity magnitude of h of tau d tau, if it is finite. That is, if h of tau is absolutely integrable, then the system will be stable. This continuous time, linear time invariant system will be stable. So it is required that this integration from minus infinity to plus infinity, magnitude of h of tau d tau should be less than infinity, or h of tau should be absolutely integrable. Now this last property of this linear time invariant system, that is invertibility. In general, a system is said to be invertible if it is possible to recover the input from the output of the system. Therefore, for invertible systems, there exists the impulse response whose inverse response when convolved with the output generates back the input signal. So let us consider this block schematic. If this is a linear time invariant system where x of t, if it is convolved with h of t, we obtain y of t, then there should exist the inverse impulse response h inverse of t. When we convolve it with y of t, we should be able to regenerate x of t from it. So there should be such kind of impulse response exists. Now what is the overall impulse response of this? Overall impulse response is h of t convolved with h inverse of t. Now if the overall impulse response, if I consider, and from x of t to x of t, if you want, it is required that h of t when convolved with h inverse t should be equal to delta of t. This is the overall impulse response. So overall impulse response, if it is delta of t, if it is in the form of delta of t, then x of t convolved with delta of t is equal to x of t, you get. So that is h of t convolved with h inverse t, you should get it is equal to delta of t. So there should exist the inverse impulse response in such a way that when you convolve this inverse impulse response with the impulse response of the linear time invariant system, you should get delta of t, the impulse function. In a similar way, for the discrete time system, a discrete time linear time invariant system will be said to be invertible if h of n convolved with h inverse of n is equal to delta of n. So if there is an inverse system exists which when convolved with hn, if it is giving you delta of n, the impulse function, then we say that the discrete time LTI system is invertible. So to summarize, these are the various properties in terms of impulse response. For the memory-less linear time invariant system, it is required that the impulse response of the system should be in the form of impulse function. So for continuous time system, h of t should be in the form of c delta of t, and for discrete time system, h of n should be in the form of c delta of n. For causal linear time invariant system, it is required that h of t should be equal to 0 for t less than 0 and h of n should be equal to 0 for n less than 0. This is for discrete time LTI system, and this is for the continuous time LTI system. For stability, for the discrete time LTI system, it is required that h of n should be absolutely summable, or summation n from minus infinity to plus infinity hn should be less than infinity. And for continuous time LTI system, h of tau or h of t should be absolutely integrable, or if you integrate it from minus infinity to plus infinity, its integration should be less than infinity. And for invertible system, it is required that h of t convolved with h inverse of t should be equal to delta of t for continuous time LTI system, and there should exist an inverse impulse response in such a that if inverse impulse response is convolved with hn, you should get the impulse function, that is delta of n. So thank you very much students for your patience hearing. In the next session, we shall concentrate on some numericals on how to identify from the impulse response whether this LTI system is memory-less, causal, stable or not. So let us stop here. Thank you very much.